Cruise ship hit by hantavirus outbreak arrives in Spain's Canary Islands. A cruise ship struck by a deadly hantavirus outbreak arrived in Spain's Canary Islands early on Sunday as Spanish authorities prepared a tightly controlled evacuation of hundreds of passengers, all deemed high-risk contacts after 3 people died and several others fell ill during the voyage. A cruise ship hit with a deadly hantavirus outbreak arrived in Spain's Canary Islands Sunday, where most of the nearly 150 people on board will be evacuated and flown home after weeks at sea. The Dutch-flagged MV Hondius arrived near the Spanish port of Granadilla escorted by a civil guard vessel, AFP journalists reported, confirmed by data from the maritime tracking service VesselFinder. Passengers and some of the crew are expected to evacuate before the ship, where an outbreak of hantavirus led to the deaths of 3 people, continues on its way to the Netherlands. 3 passengers from the ship, a Dutch husband and wife and a German woman, have died, while others have fallen sick with the rare disease, which usually spreads among rodents. The only hantavirus type that can transmit from person to person, the Andes virus, has been confirmed among those who have tested positive, fueling international concern. We classify everybody on board as what we call a high-risk contact, whose Epidemic and Pandemic Preparedness and Prevention Director Maria van Kerkhove said Saturday. But the risk to the general public and the people of the Canaries remained low, she added. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, who arrived in Spain on Saturday and is expected to oversee the ship evacuation, gave the same assurance and thanked the people of Tenerife for their solidarity. I need you to hear me clearly, Tedros wrote in an open letter to the people of Tenerife on Saturday. This is not another COVID. After arriving in Tenerife, he said he was confident the operation would be a success. Spain is ready and prepared, he told reporters. Daily life uninterrupted. At the port of Granadilla de Abona early Sunday morning, AFP journalists saw white tents had been sent up along the quay and the police had secured part of the port. Despite the situation, daily life appeared largely normal. Some people were swimming, others shopping at the market or sitting at cafe terraces. There are worries there could be a danger, but honestly I don't see people being very concerned, said David Parada, a lottery vendor. Regional authorities have refused to allow the vessel to dock. Instead, it will remain offshore while passengers are screened and evacuated between Sunday and Monday. The only window health officials say the weather will allow. Cruise operator Oceanwide Expeditions said earlier that all guests and a limited number of crew members were expected to begin to leave the ship from around 0700 GMT. Once disembarked, they will be transferred immediately to their allocated aircraft, the Dutch firm said. The WHO said Friday it had confirmed 6 cases out of 8 suspected ones. There are no suspected cases remaining on the ship. The MV Hondius is sailing from Cape Verde, where 3 infected people had already been evacuated earlier in the week.